All right, stocks melt up while President Trump marches to victory. That's the subject of the riff. More good news on President Trump winning the war and the growing likelihood that some kind of agreement will be made with Iran. It's driving the stock market sky high. My guess is it's improving the animal spirits of all Americans who know the cause to destroy Iran to be just, but were concerned how difficult it might be. I continue to call this the Trump miracle. I continue to believe it is providential, ending the most gruesome government since the Nazis of World War II. It is such a phenomenal boon to mankind in the cause of peace and freedom and prosperity. President Trump has unwaveringly delivered on his vision to end the 47-year forever war, to do what no other president in either party quite had the backbone to do. Mr. Trump, talking to various media outlets today, has said a number of things of great importance. Now, he has said Iran has agreed to everything and will work with the U.S. to remove enriched uranium from Iran. Quote, our people, together with the Iranians, are going to work together to go get it, and then we'll take it to the United States, end quote, he said. The president also said that Iran has agreed to stop backing proxy terrorist groups like Hezbollah and Hamas. And when asked when he would be announcing the deal, Mr. Trump said the two sides are meeting this weekend and that the U.S. would continue its blockade, quote, until we get it done. That is very important. Of course, trust, but verify, especially with Iranians. But Mr. Trump knows that. And even as Iran is suggesting that the Strait of Hormuz will be open, Mr. Trump is exactly right to maintain the embargo on Iranian ports and shipping. That embargo is such a powerful weapon. It will bankrupt the government and starve them out of power if left in place for a bunch of weeks ahead. And I hope that is exactly what the president does. Keep the blockade, because we don't know about Iranian promises, and we do not ever trust them. And we want to make sure that they are in no position to make any demands in whatever talks or agreements are taking place. We're talking unconditional surrender. They must do what President Trump and his national security team tells them to do. Mr. Trump made another point today that there will be no need to involve U.S. ground troops. Now, for a transfer of enriched uranium from Iranian hands to American hands, yes, there'll be some military people. But it's a key point here. I think another reason for the big stock market rally vote of approval is that the blockade means no wider war, no thousands of ground troops in combat, for example, in Cargill, and no $200 or $250 oil. That was always the market's worst case fear. The economic and financial blockade substitutes for a wider combat role, and it's so powerful. And I think that's a key point for the end of the war that will come sooner, and for the tremendous stock market rally, which is not finished. Today, Mr. Trump tweeted, the naval blockade will remain in full force and effect as it pertains to Iran only until such time as our transaction with Iran is 100% complete. Good for him. In other words, Mr. Trump is maintaining control, and that's exactly what he should be doing because, again, nobody can ever trust Iran. The whole episode won't be over until it's completely over. However, America, under one of its very strongest commanders-in-chief ever, will win this war, and that is going to be a plus for all mankind. And that's the riff this evening.